You are now listening to Ride With Me, the Fraternity Podcast.
Welcome to Ride With Me. Today is episode 17 on August 22, 8:12 in the morning. Today on the podcast, I have a returning guest, Mr. Paul Valadez.
What's up? You got the name right.
Yes, I did. I was practicing on the way to the store to get waters. I got to make sure I get his name correct.
Well, you still call me Valdez no matter what.
I still have you Valdez on my phone, bro.
Yeah, you know, it's tricky. You know, we were special to put that extra A in there.
That's right. I'm like, nah, I'm going to keep calling him that. He's stuck with that name.
Well, a lot of people still do. Like the couple of people, the higher ups where I work at, they still call me Valdez. They don't say Valdez. They look at me like, it's Valdez. I'm like, okay, whatever. Man.
We're going to stick to that.
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
Nah, but how you been, man?
I've been good, dude. Just still working on this podcast thing. Can you believe we're already on freaking 18, 17, 19, 15?
Oh, wow. You're getting famous.
That total 900 downloads, bro, so far. As of this morning.
Yeah, I was checking it out. I've been catching up as soon as I listen to a lot of podcasts. So
I get it.
When I have time, I kind of, because I jump back from Spotify to TuneIn to Podbean.
You do know I'm on Spotify now,
yeah.
right? Okay.
So that's where I listen to the podcast on Spotify.
I get it. I'm a nobody, bro. You have to put me at the end of your list of listening to podcasts. I get it.
No, but I listen to you when I get home. The other ones is more of when I'm on the road and working. But as soon as I get home,
when you're not distracted,
I listen to the podcast.
Wow, I'm honored.
Yeah. So
how's fame been for you since episode 6?
It's been a lot. It's been cool, man. I had some people that work with us, you know, come out and tell me like they didn't know that about me. I'm like, yeah, because I play it close to me. I don't really go out and tell everybody that, but I'm just happy with the fame, man. I know there's a competition between me and another episode that we're going back and forth. Who has the most downloads? You know? But it is what it is, you know.
Yeah, dude, I started signing babies' foreheads and shit.
As long as you don't punch them, dude.
No. Just signing the foreheads, dude. Sign my baby. Sign my baby.
You see that baby take that punch? Oh, man. That's one of my favorite movies right there.
Which one is this?
Election with Will Ferrell and the guy from The Hangover.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, there's a part in the movie to where he goes.
Wait! I have seen that movie. Zach Sembelakvelis, or whatever his name is. Yeah, the guy from the freaking. It was shit.
He was in the movie with Robert Downey Jr. Due Date, Hangover.
Alan from The Hangover.
Yeah. And I remember the part where he's gonna sock him, and then he ducks, and he ends up socking a baby. And then in the next scene over, he's like, "But did you see how hard that baby took that punch? Like, let's talk about how my hand hurts." And I'm like, "That's stupid."
Yeah, I watched that movie once. It's like if I don't watch the movie 3 or 4 times, I won't remember certain things, or like lines from the movie, or like joke, like the signing baby thing. I believe that's from the Talladega Nights.
Yeah, Talladega Nights.
And I've seen that movie hundreds of times.
Where he gets the signing, and then he ends up signing the
girl's
forehead, and he's like, "When I get the signing, you got to step out of the way, like everything."
He's in signing mode.
Yeah. But I love movies. I can quote a lot of movies because
same here.
I go back and forth on them.
My brothers and I used, when we were kids, we always did that. No, forget the kids part, till like adulthood, and we would always just be quoting movies and where's that from, or where's this from, or we would connect actors.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you connect Ian McGregor with Shania Twain somehow, or whatever? And okay, well, Ian McGregor was in the movie Moulin Rouge with this actress who was with this person, and then this person, and this person. And the one day, I think we connected like Schwarzenegger with Yoda. It worked, dude. But when I met my wife, and I realized they did the same exact thing, I was like, damn, I thought we were the weirdos.
Well, what's your favorite genre of movies?
I'll watch anything, dude. I was just making fun of my kids yesterday for loving How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, but yet I love that movie.
Dude, honestly, I'm a big Matthew McConaughey fan.
Yeah.
So I seen all his movies, and that was one of them I saw. So it was funny. Like I was, and a lot of the stuff. When a clingy woman, correction. Sometimes when she does get attached, that's what usually does happen. And some dudes can't handle it, and they get scared off. And And she thought it was gonna happen with that guy, but it didn't.
Yeah,
happen
no,
with him.
I'm into. I watch anything, bro. I even watch stoner movies, and I don't even smoke myself.
No, that's
You know,
good.
Pineapple Express was hilarious. Freaking, I still haven't finished watching Half Baked.
Oh, dude, that's a classic movie, man. I've watched that many times. Back in those days, they had a bunch of stoner movies that come out. You know, there's a bunch of them. So there was probably once that one came out, I think like the media, Hollywood started jumping on that bandwagon,
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden they came out with like six different ones where all of them really, other than Half Baked, the rest of them
yeah.
just sucked. And I was like,
No, I got into. I mean, like I said, I'll watch anything. I recently heard a episode of a podcast where they're interviewing Eli Roth,
oh
and he came out in Inglorious Bastards as the Bear Jew.
yeah, he's a good horror movie
Yeah,
director.
yeah. So I started watching like all of Quentin Tarantino movies recently. I like Reservoir Dogs, and I still won't watch Pulp Fiction. I just doesn't interest me, but I gotta watch it because it's a Quentin Tarantino movie. But yeah, this actor was. I was like listening. Like I said, I was listening to the podcast to Inside of You and Michael Rosenberg, the
Yeah.
guy that played Lex Luthor on Smallville.
Yeah,
Freaking Eli Roth and Michael Rosenberg were like childhood friends.
yeah,
So he's talking about, you know, what got him into movies, and you know, it was a Quentin Tarantino movie, and so I'm like, I got into it, dude. I started watching Quentin Tarantino movies. My wife's like, what? Why all of a sudden? Because Valentine in the Morning said something. I'm like, no, babe, no. I listened to a podcast, and it's interesting. It was an interesting story. He appeared on that podcast again, and I haven't had time to sit down and listen to the episode, but I ended up liking that actor, where even on Call of Duty, I changed my clan name, my username to the
Yeah.
Bear Juice.
okay.
I didn't want to put Jew and get, you know, lectured by somebody, so I just made the Bear Juice.
Yeah,
And the guys get it. You know, Chris Smith got it. He was laughing. A couple other guys got it. Like, and even his wife was on the one. You can hear in the background. Why is Andres' name the Bear Juice? And he's like, you can hear him explain. It's from Inglourious Bastards.
Eli Roth does a lot of good. Like you go Halloween time, he does horror movie nights. So
Yeah.
he'll bust out all the classic horror movies, and from like the 50s and like 1940s. Like he'll do all that. But my favorite one that he's directed and he had a part in was the Hostel movie, the first Hostel. Which, if you're not a fan of gory, like how do I say it, pretty much torture, it's not going to be a movie for
The
you.
Hostel, is that the one with Bruce Willis?
No, that's the Hostage.
Oh, my bad.
You're talking about the Hostage.
I'm off.
We're talking Hostel. It's about these guys go to Europe and they're out there gonna party, get out of there. They're traveling. They ended up hooking up with some guys who they want to go to this area to look for girls. Then when it comes to find out that area is known for kidnapping people and selling them for businessmen from all over the world to fly in to basically pay to kill them. They pay X amount of dollars and they get this one person, then they get to kill them. And that's what they did. And one got out, but if you watch 2 and 3 are kind of more corny, but
Okay.
it keeps on going. It's a good one.
Yeah, no, I haven't watched that one yet, but I'll probably get into it. Like I said, I just little by little I've been trying to catch all of Quentin Tarantino movies, but it's a little harder to do when my kids are here. I mean, I've said worse, but I don't want them, to watch something where they'll go in, and they're at baby's mama's house, and we watched that movie, and then I'm the asshole dad. I'm trying to avoid those. I mean, I just recently had them watching the Austin Powers movies, and even I paused at a certain part, and I'm like, I think this joke's going to be a little too harsh or too dirty for you guys to get it. And I'm whatever, hit play. Oh, my name is fuck you and fuck me. My wife's like, wow. I'm like, I thought about it.
You know what? These days, man, kids are gonna hear something. They could go out in the world and they're gonna see everything. They're gonna hear everything. I know a lot of family members, like parents, try to protect them, but the more and more, I believe, if you protect them, the more and more
they'll go out looking for it.
They'll go out doing
Yeah.
it, man. You're gonna keep them sheltered, and I've noticed that with a lot of, especially right now, people like, especially like the Me Too movement, the cancel culture, with the stay woke movement. Everybody's just protect this, protect
Yeah.
that. Like let's go after this. And
It's sad that we've come to a world where we have to watch what we say.
you have to watch what you say from like 20 years ago now, because
Yeah.
now they're coming up with stuff where, oh, you know, you got to watch social media. That's why I'm not even on social media.
I know. I noticed you removed yourself from Facebook.
Yeah, and plus I'm kind of one of those kind of conspiracy theories. I don't want to feed into artificial intelligence. If you really look into it, man, the majority of everybody's on their phone. Like, you're looking at it, you're just, you know, it's in your hand all the time.
Yeah.
But what people don't realize is when you're actually, well, me, I'm not saying what people, maybe a lot of people notice, but whatever you search on there, especially like Google, whatever, you sell that data up. So now what it's going to do is when you open like your, you know, like all your social media outlets, it's going to have something come back up. It's going to have something come up. And
you know what? You're right, because I've noticed that I just recently went to go upgrade my kids' fishing poles, and all of a sudden on Facebook I have fishing pole ads or fishing this and fishing that, and they do sucker you in sometimes, because there was this lure.
Yeah.
And it's like cut in pieces where it swims like a real fish. And I was like, dude, that looks interesting. I want that. And like I said, that ad worked, because for Father's Day, guess what I got? 3 of those little lures.
Yeah, because it's they also look into, like, say you repost something, like something funny or something serious. So now what's happening is they look at what you posted, so now they're just going to give you a bunch of suggestions. So that's kind of why I'm not even on social media. I don't even look at the news anymore, because the news.
I'm at the point where I don't even believe what people post anymore. This guy did this, and they're flashing, they're posting a picture of his license plate, and he did that and this and that. And how do I know your information is correct?
Yeah.
How do I know you're not trying to get even with this guy?
Yeah.
I'm like, did you report it to? I'll comment. Did you report it to the police?
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying about social media. It is getting to the point where I don't even freaking want to look at Facebook, because it went from people just talking to each other and posting on each other's wall to ad for this, ad for that. You know, like, I don't even let my kid look over my shoulder anymore, because then what do you see? The first thing that pops up is something gruesome, or, you know, a body cut in half, or half naked women. It's like, I don't follow this people, but it's like what other people share. I don't need my kid looking at that.
Well, that's what the media is doing. So the media is actually, they're not going to tell you the happy. They'll tell you happy-go-lucky stuff here and there.
Yeah.
But the most of it's going to be what's going to catch people's eyes. What's going to, you know. So there's always going to be a negative narrative when you look at, you know, news, or if you look at, they're always going to replay the same thing. They're always going to keep going and going. Try to steer people that way, like catch. It's all clickbait. Like, if you ever look on, like, on the video streaming services, where you look at the thumbnail, then you see the thumbnail, then you're like, oh, okay. You read the caption, you're like, oh, this is gonna be cool.
Yeah.
Then when you hit it, it's totally something different. You're like, what the hell? That wasn't what it was supposed to be.
No,
because they're clickbaiting you. And when they do that, what happens is it starts generating all the data, because when you accept, all your data is getting taken in from there. So they're looking at all the stuff that you downloaded, and they're just going to keep pumping stuff into you. And that's what all these big corporate guys get revenue off of, because those guys buy into that, and you give them your data, and then now they're like, all right, well, we have his data, so we can start pumping all these ads that these advertisers gave us.
Yeah.
So we can start boom, boom, boom going. That's why they say if you're on, like, I forgot the big one out there where you post a lot of pictures is
Instagram?
Yeah. If you have that open and you start talking about certain things like Modelo, whatever, it picks up on it, and it'll start generating stuff for it.
No, like I said earlier, I was talking about fishing, and all of a sudden fishing ads pop up on Facebook.
Yeah, so that's why I'm kind of like, I don't
away from it.
Yeah, I stay away from it, man. But movies, I do stay away.
Back to movies, huh?
Yeah, because dude, there's so many streaming services now. Like, it's getting crazy to, like, catch on to. Like, you have the Disney Plus now. You have a Bravo TVs, is
Hulu,
coming
HBO Plus, and all these other.
HBO Max is coming.
Yeah,
out now. But I actually have HBO Go, the app.
Yeah.
But then it just switched over to HBO Max, and I've been looking at it. I'm like, well, they got a lot of stuff on there.
Do they have the Game of Thrones?
They have a Game of Thrones. They have all the seasons.
Okay, you're gonna go in the house in a bit, and you're gonna log into my Fire Stick, and I need that, please. Thank you.
They have all the. I will if you need to.
I really need to watch them Game of Thrones with the subtitles on it.
Yeah, they have that.
That is one show that the boys cannot watch.
Why is that?
Because, dude, I kind of tried. And then I know where the scenes are coming where they're, half naked women. Wait, I lied. Full naked women. And then babe, we can't. It's an interesting story. It's an amazing TV show. But we can't because then they'll, out of the blue, oh, man, they're just, like I said, man, it all goes back to, I'm not trying to be a helicopter parent. It's just it all goes back to what they might slip and say at mom's house where it'll come back to me. Like the other day, no joke, the other day she hit me up, hey, what are you going to do for Nick's birthday? My response was strippers and cocaine. Where's that from? The Hangover.
The Hangover,
yeah.
or Talladega Nights.
Okay, so that was gonna be. I literally had typed it up, and then I remembered the kind of person that she is, so I deleted it. And I'm like, oh well, we're gonna do this for him. We might take him to Big Bear, but me being funny, that was gonna be my response.
I would have got it.
Right?
I would have got it.
So yeah, I just can't because a while back when we were going to court, she accused me of teaching the boys to play beer pong.
Oh, okay.
Because supposedly I posted a picture, so my wife's getting on me like, did you post a picture on this? Are you serious? Why would you do that? I don't know what she's talking about, and I'm like thinking to my head, did I really do this? Because I have a beer pong table.
Yeah.
Did I really do that? I mean, I don't know. But when it came down to court, well, where's your proof? There was no proof.
It was just made up.
It was just, yeah, exactly. So if I can keep away from giving her ammunition, I'm going to keep away from giving her ammunition.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very cautious of what movies I let the boys watch. Like I said, even Austin Powers, some of the jokes are kind of pretty dirty. And I'm like,
him and his innuendos for his area, his man,
Yeah, the gold member. No, but only because I've been wanting to watch the second one because of Meanie Me and I'm like, well, you can't watch the second one without knowing what happened in the first one, what made the second one, and yeah, they watched all three and they agreed. Part 2 was the best.
I like it when they're looking at the sky and they're like, melons.
Yeah, those jokes are like, okay. My kids are like, sorry, guys. My wife's like, really, Andres? Some of the jokes are like, really? It says PG-13. Nick, it's technically 13 now.
Yeah, well, as long as you don't show them the Mel Brooks movies, man. Don't show them.
No, not those.
Don't show them Blazing Saddles, man. Blazing Saddles was...
I'm actually at the point where I'm debating whether to allow them to watch Blood In, Blood Out. That is my favorite all-time movie that I can watch over and over again.
So Blood In, Blood Out's your favorite?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Blood In, Blood Out. Dude, I've even gone to the downtown, East LA to go see Alpino.
I see it on a regular basis.
Do you?
Man. I'm in that area at least once a week.
Yeah.
One of my top accounts is out there, so I stop by and I see.
I would, like I said earlier, it's like we would quote movies left and right. And when I first started dating my wife, it's like, where's that from? She's like trying to rack her brains. She's like, I've never heard that quote before. I don't know what movie you're talking about. So I had her. I'm like, how the hell is someone from LA County hasn't watched Blood In, Blood Out? So we started watching it. She was watching it for the first time, and no joke, every 5 minutes, a phrase that I quote.
Yeah. And
she's looking at me with dirty looks, like, really? Even with Austin Powers.
Yeah.
The kids are like, there's sometimes where I'll try to snag his food, and I try to pretend to put it in my mouth, and I'm fighting myself to put it in my mouth and lick it. I'll stick my tongue out. They're like, is that where you got it, Dad? Or when they say a certain thing and they look at me like, Dad, is that where you got it from? So yeah, Blood In, Blood Out, man. I quote that movie so much. Even my brothers, I think my daughter, when we first went to go to her house, she was making dinner, and she was having pork chops.
Yeah.
And since Layla watched the movie, I don't want your pork chops. I want your life. My wife looked at her like, I'm always, that's from a movie, babe. That's from a movie. She goes, that sounds kind of gruesome. And so when she watched the movie and the movie was over, she looked at me like, really, babe? You allowed your 5-year-old daughter to watch this movie? And my response was like, I was a bad father back then.
You know what, man? That's a classic movie. That's actually where Danny Trejo got his
Start.
His start.
Yeah.
Because before then, he was in candid movies. There's
Desperado.
Desperado. But there's an interview on YouTube which he does with a friend of mine. He runs a TV like kind of like a channel on there.
Yeah.
And he has Danny Trejo on there doing interviews with him.
I actually want Fluffy to be here.
Dude, I think he did one with Fluffy. Yeah,
Did he really?
Yeah, you know him and Felipe Esparza hate each other.
Really?
Yeah, Felipe Esparza doesn't like Fluffy.
Aw, man.
Yeah, he. I guess apparently they toured together, and I guess Felipe Esparza was being too pretty much killing it, and Fluffy wasn't.
So back in the day, feud.
And then so kind of Fluffy kind of kicked them out, like got him out.
Oh.
And like no, I don't want him on my tour no more. And he kicked them out, and then brought in another person, but then was like, well, you owe me money, and it was a big feud.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's why if you listen to Felipe Esparza's podcast, he'll tell the whole story.
I just like, to me, I feel like Fluffy's like down to earth kind of guy. I mean, he's also a stepdad. I think the comedy special that he had, when he's talking about, being a stepdad and then losing his mom. I think I started crying. I'm like, he's supposed to be making us laugh, not cry.
Yeah.
Because I get emotional, dude, because he's talking about, at the end, he's like, he gives it up to all the, to all the stepdads and stepmoms out there, to all the step-parents.
Yeah.
He gives a shout-out to them. And since I raised my daughter since she was 4 months old, and then my wife's been doing the same for the past, 7 years.
Yeah.
We got emotional, dude. It's like, so I feel like Fluffy be like a down-to-earth kind of guy to have on here. But that's just dreams, bro.
I never, honestly, I've never seen any of his comedies.
No?
No, I can't get into, like George Lopez comedy, Fluffy comedy. I can't get into like Amy Schumer comedy. I like the more like rugged, like the guys who are basically gonna be raw. They're gonna like, my favorite comedy special is
the Eddie Murphy?
Yeah, but raw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not Delirious, raw.
Oh, okay.
That one's a good one. Then also, I like the stand-up special with what's his face, Theo Vaughn.
Okay.
Yeah, his stand-up special, and they come out on YouTube on the channel.
I think again, me with my kids, I'm more family kind of comedy. So Jeff Dunham I love him. Joy Coy.
Yeah.
Hey, Joseph, you're gonna die. Or what's her name? My wife loves her. It's like something about something nail, and like, freaking, she's like, you wanna maybe love you nail or something like that, or whatever her name is, dude. She's Johnson, Angela Johnson.
Yeah,
she's funny, dude.
Well, if you really like, you're talking about your kids, how you kind of shelter, not shelter. You kind of show them, certain movies that you want them to watch.
Yeah.
And not watch. Like me, when my son was growing up, he's now going to be 21. I let him watch Full Metal Jacket. I'm like, all right, Full Metal Jacket. And when he went to the Marines, when he went to boot camp and he came out, I remember asking him, how was it? He was like,
nothing like the movie?
He was like, it was nothing like the movie. I go, yeah, because you went in later.
Yeah.
I go, when I went in, it was exactly like the movie. Like, it was brutal.
Really?
Yeah, it was bad. And I was...
So that's right. You were in the military, right?
Yeah, I was in the military.
Who else? Your son?
My son's in it. My nephews are in it. My dad was in it. My uncles were in it. It's pretty much a family tradition.
Okay.
I was the last one to go into the Marine Corps, but then after that, like, none of the grandkids wanted to go. So on my dad's side, my mom's side, no, but it was all females. So
okay.
On my dad's side, when I had him, he was the next, like, my uncles were like, well, it ended with you because you were the last to go. No one else wants to go in. So when he was going to go in, he had a full ride to actually go to college. So I was kind of like, dude, you can go to college. Like, we'll figure out the payments. We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he comes to me later and he's like, well, I just joined the Marine Corps. And I looked at him. I'm like, are you serious? And I'm over here telling, people like, oh, he's going to go college, whatever.
Yeah.
But then he comes to me and he shows me his DEP-in paperwork. And I'm like, why, dude? Out of all the things you can do, why?
So how was the military for you? Was it Forrest Gump military for you, or was it American Sniper?
Well, Chris Kyle, I did meet him a couple times. Over there while we're stationed out there, he actually was he was well famous. He was well known because a lot of people don't know the Marine Corps is a branch off of the Navy. So back in 1775, when the whole Marine Corps was coming about, we were supposed to be the elite force of the Navy. But for some reason, they decided, you know what, fuck, F this. We're gonna go. we're gonna be our own service, and they decided, Tongue's Tavern that day, and they became the United States Marine Corps. So the Navy was kind of like, well, you're supposed to be our guys, But there's a tie between. There's always been a tie. If you have a Marine Corps unit, there's always going to be a Navy corpsman or somebody in the Navy in that unit. So Chris Kyle was in the Navy. But he was the top. He was the top, like, creme de la creme sniper.
Okay.
Like, Marine Corps has their own snipers because basically the Marine Corps, you're basically all riflemen. You can be the admin guy. You could be the cook. You can be the grunt. You could be anything. But you're gonna know the basics of rifle.
My wife has a cousin that was in I'm not sure which branch of the military, but he was also a sniper.
Yeah.
And my understanding, he has stories. And I haven't been able to have him on the podcast, but I would like to have him on the podcast. But I don't know if he's willing to open up about his experiences. Because, again, man, my purpose of this podcast is first, give off my history to where I am, where I was to where I am. And then after that, kind of bring in your average Joes. I'm never, like I said, Fluffy would be someone just to see what the hell happens. But he's not an average Joe.
Nah.
We got my cousin who came over a couple weeks ago. We got the guy that came over last week. Those are your average Joes. I was talking to my neighbor. She's a dentist assistant. And I'm like, you're an average Joe,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's just the common folk.
Yeah, regular. My buddy Lee, he's the one that gave me that idea.
Yeah.
Stick to that. Stick to your average Joes. I can't have Trump.
Oh, man.
I think my wife would divorce me if that guy steps foot on here. If he just drives in the block, she's like, we're done.
Yeah. But no, but the thing is with him, when he came in, it made us all proud. Like, you know what? He's doing something that we all did. And I remember his graduation. He was going on the parade deck, which they all do when we graduate boot camp.
Yeah.
He was going on the parade deck, and my dad wasn't there to see it. My grandpa was there to see it because he's the original generation of the Marine Corps. But you were able to see pretty much all of us cry because we knew what it took to get there.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing him do it, and it was a proud moment for all of us. Like it chokes me up right now even talking about it.
How long has he been in the military for?
Right now he's going on 2 years.
Okay.
But the kid, so basically your job in the Marine Corps is basically going to go on your testing score. So when I joined, I tested, I think I scored like a 42 on my test, which is got arithmetic reasoning, paragraph comprehension, math. It has everything in there. Science. It has everything in there. But he scored a 74, so he had a bigger realm of. They basically dropped the book to him like, this is whatever jobs you could want to do. Like, what do you want to do? I want to do infantry. And out of all of the jobs, I looked at him. Why infantry? Why, dude? You had many jobs because you don't understand being an infantry. You're humping when you're going through your schooling, especially at SOI and Camp Pendleton. You're humping your first day there. You're going to do a full gear, 120-pound packs. You're doing a 10-mile hike. Then it's going to go to 15-mile hikes. Then it's going to go 20-mile hikes. And we're not talking about just on flat land. You're going up steep mountains, and you're going all over. So I told him, I was like, "You're gonna be 25 years old with your knees and your back shot out." And he was kind of just like, "Really?" But then when I talk to him now, how do you feel? He's like, "My knees are done."
Oh man,
I was
only
like,
2 years.
I go, "Yeah," because, but he is. I'm proud of him because he's actually top of his. He's the top of his squad.
Okay,
Like
good.
like the other day, they got new guys that came in fresh from school, and so a little bit more Marine Corps. If you're not an infantryman, you go to School of Infantry. You learn the basic. It's a 2 week course. So basically, it's a 2 month course crashed into 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then when those guys get out, but if you're going to be infantry, you stay there for 2.5 months, 2 months, depending. And then you get shipped off to either Yuma, Arizona, 29 Palms, or you stay in Camp Pendleton.
Yeah.
So when they get fresh guys in their unit, they have to train them. So since he's a senior there, it was funny because he was telling me the story. They had 3 guys lined up, and they tell the new guys, and because they're going to go PT, physical train, and they told them one of us is the top guy, and the other 2 are the low bottom guys. So you pick who you think's the low bottom guys to lead this PT, and then they gave him the option. So they looked at my son, because he's my height. He's 5'5",
Yeah.
whatever, but he's slim. They had 2 guys that are pretty much, they're jacked up. They're pretty built. Then they look at my son like, all right. So they asked the guys the new guys that are coming into the unit, okay, so who do you guys want? And they picked my son. And they asked him, why did you pick him? And they said, be truthful. They're like, he doesn't look like he's the guy. And they're like, well, you picked wrong because that's the top guy.
Wow.
So, and my son, and you're talking about my son could run 3 miles in soft sand. You're talking about every average Joe that walks the beach with soft sand. It's hard.
Yeah.
He could run 3 miles in soft sand and get it done in 17 minutes.
Nice.
And he humps it, and he's good, dude. There's probably guys out there that are probably get outdo him, but for me, it's a proud moment.
For you, yeah.
It's proud. But yeah, man, they picked wrong, and they were kind of at the end of the day. At the end of it, he was telling me, he's like, yeah, they were puking. He's all, I had him puking. But me and him, we trade stories because he asked me because I wasn't the top guy, I was the mediocre guy.
That's what I'm about to ask you. We talked about your son. Now, what about you? How was it for you?
For me, it was cool. I loved it. I love every minute of it. But the stuff I seen while I was over there, like, I know everybody back home saw the statue, get torn down, but I was actually right there. I was actually watching it get torn down, and once it came down, the people over there were kind of like, we don't want you here no more. Like, get out.
Which statue is this again?
Saddam Hussein statue.
Really?
Yeah.
You were there?
Yeah, we were there.
I watched it. Like you said, I watched it on TV.
Yeah, I was right there. I was right behind the tank, trying to keep order in some way. But my gunny came out to me, and he was like, "You're not gonna hold these people back. Just let it happen."
Yeah.
And sure enough, man, you just see them storm it and go crazy, and it was nuts, dude. Like, it was pretty crazy, dude. Like, we all looked at it like, man, this is what we were here for. This is what we were there.
How's the heat over there in freaking Middle East?
It's pretty dry.
Yeah.
It's really dry. Sandstorms will come up in like crazy. But there's times where it was cool at night, which was odd. You're like, man, it's cool. But then when the desert gets cold, it gets cold
Really?
at night. But that's a whole training we go through. We
Prepare for that.
We prepared for it. There's times when you're in school of infantry where, depending on the season you're there, if you're there in the rainy season, they tell you dig a hole and you're going to be in there for all night.
Wow.
And I felt bad for my son because my son went there during wintertime, and I asked him, I was like, how was it? And he was like, it was some of the coldest nights I ever had. He's always pretty much knee high in water, and had to stay there. And I was like, yeah, that's what it is, dude.
Yeah.
You're going to see that out there.
I was funny because I was just saying this the other day. It's amazing what you guys, I didn't say you guys because you did it. What you guys are trained to do. I witnessed my sister-in-law stand on a stage for an hour with holding her gun in the same position, and like, wow, like didn't even I didn't see her blink once.
Yeah, that's the POA, man, the position of attention. So
Yeah.
in boot camp, there's times where you're sitting there, and when I was in boot camp, it was fun, but they make you feel like you're less of a person. You have to refer to yourself in the third person. It's no more that I need to go to the bathroom. It's more of a this recruit has to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
So you have to start referring to yourself that way.
It's funny because my daughter wanted to. At first, she thought about the military so she can travel the world. I'm like, Mija, go for it.
Yeah.
But if you can't even take me getting on you, how are you going to allow somebody who you don't know get in your face?
And the thing is, they're going to get in your face, but you can't eyeball them. You can't say them directly. You have to.
Exactly. I'm like, you over here rolling your eyes at me. Watch what happens when you roll your eyes at them.
Well, in boot camp, we had a few guys that were, they call it civilian withdrawals.
Yeah.
Those are the guys they kind of want to keep motivated because those are the guys that want to go home. They want to just like, oh, this is not for me. Needless to say, we handled it ourselves because whatever they mess up in, we get punished for. Whatever, they do, it falls back on us because our gunnies, our senior DIs and junior DIs are looking at us like, that's your fault.
Yeah.
You guys are not motivating him. We're doing what we need to do. You guys also need to do it. So we end up getting in trouble. And I think one of the guys in my unit, I remember his name was Ramirez. He was from Minnesota. He had really bad civilian withdrawals to the point where I remember when I came into the cycle, I asked him, I was like, how long you been here? He's like, oh, I've been here for like 4 months, 5 months. And I'm like, and I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I was like, why are you here that long? He's like, I don't know. I just can't get it. So they'll keep working at you till you finally get it.
Yeah, or give up.
Or they'll just say, it's not for him. Get him out.
Yeah.
For me, when I got in there, I remember I walked in to my recruiter's office. He's like, Paul, give me 2 pull-ups. And I was like, all right. Okay. Did 2 pull-ups. All right. You're going to boot camp this Sunday. What do you mean? And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm supposed to go like 2 weeks. I got like the 2 to 3 weeks left. He's like, well, I forgot his name. He was from Wanima High School.
I went to Wanima High School.
Yeah, he was from Wanima High School, and he didn't make weight. And they're like, and he couldn't do the pull-ups. He looked at me, and I'm like, all right. Then I looked at him, I was like, you bastard. Then to come to find out, he didn't end up going for another 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Because when I came back from boot camp after all that, he was still trying to lose his weight. And so, but I did. So when I got in there, I was like, all right, cool. And like I made it. But in boot camp, I think it's like after I forgot because everything's T1, T2. It's training days.
Right.
So when I got in there, I forgot when we did our first PFT, physical fitness test. I didn't do the pull-ups. So they sent me to another platoon. They dropped me. They're like, well, you got to go.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, you got dropped. See you later. And I had to go to this thing where they call it the fat farm. So this is where they send guys. If you can't pass this PFT, they're going to put you over there, lose weight, gain your endurance.
So the camp of shame.
Yeah. So then you're going to go back to another platoon. So when I got in there, I was telling the family, I'm going to graduate October. I'll be back. Now they're like, well, you're going to be in the fat farm for a couple months. So you're not going to be graduating until December. I'm like, man, come on, dude. And but that's the way it rolled, man.
Yeah.
It rolled like that. And lucky my son passed it through.
Good
he
for
passed
him.
everything. I was like,
good for him.
Yeah, you don't want to go to that fat farm because I was going to the chow hall with a diet thing on me. So I was like, I see all these guys eating pancakes, whatever. I walk in with my diet, and they're like, here you go, cottage cheese, slice of toast, and black coffee. I'm like, whatever. And then I remember they were coming back. They're like, Recruit Valadez, you really need that? No, sir. Why? Because I'm overweight. All right. So what do we do? Okay. And I actually push it away. And
not even eat that.
Not even eat that. But then again, I would get crap for because I didn't eat it. And they're like, well, we're not wasteful people around here. Why are you not eating it? So
damn if you do and damn if you don't.
Yeah. So my senior DI would tell me something, but then my junior DI would come into me, and he told me, I remember Gunnery Sergeant Duckworth tells me, he's like, tells me about my weight. But then, the staff sergeant came out and says, we're not wasteful people. And then I'm thinking in my head, like, well, then what do I do? And they both start yelling, like, pick it up. No, get your ass out. They'll pick it up. No, get your ass out. So I just ended up leaving. And then when I get outside, I have to stand in the position of attention until everybody's done. Then we go back to the squad bay, and then the junior DI walks in, and basically what it is when you owe him, he comes in. I know for our unit, he would come in once during the day and says, "Who owes me?"
Oh shit!
And he walked in. He's all, "Who owes me?" He's all, "If you owe me, get on my quarterdeck right now. Get on my quarterdeck right now." And I didn't know if I owed him. I just did it. I just went outside, and he when he saw me walking, he looked at me. He's all right, Recruit Valadez, I like your integrity, because I was going to see if you're going to come in, because you did waste some food back there. And what do we do about wasting food? And I'm like, we get in trouble. And he's like, no. He's all, there's hungry people out there. He's all, we're in the Marine Corps. We don't get none of the stuff the Navy gets, Army gets, so we enjoy what we get.
The little that we get, yeah?
Yeah. He's like, so you just wasted somebody's hard-earned tax dollars right there. He's all, the guys in jail are not getting this type of food. And I was like, all right. And then you pretty much get on that quarterdeck and you do push-ups till you can't no more. Until he says you're done.
You're done.
So and it's not 1, 2. Every exercise in the Marine Corps is 4 counts. So you're doing 1, 2, 3, and it's 1.
And a 1.
So you're basically doing 2 and 1.
Yeah.
And I remember after that, my arms were marshmallows. Like I was like, I couldn't even. I remember going to the chow hall the next time for dinner.
Yeah.
Trying to lift my water.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. I literally had to grab my wrist and use my other arm to pick it up to my mouth. And I remember my junior DIs were laughing. They're like, "Oh, what's wrong with your arms, son?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I just can't feel them." They're like, "Oh, yeah, maybe you should not waste food the next time." I was like,
yeah, my only military training was up in Todd Road and, push-ups, burpees, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was the closest to military training I got.
Oh, man. I think when I was it was the first year they initiated the Crucible. So in boot camp, your last 3 days in boot camp, for some reason, they said there needs to be something challenging at the end of boot camp. Like, boot camp's not challenging enough. Marine Corps has the longest boot camp, which is 3 months.
Yeah.
They're like, well, let's throw something else in there. Let's give them something. So it was a Crucible. So basically, they get all the boot camp crammed into 3 days. And those 3 days, you get the maximum of probably 4 hours sleep. You eat the equivalent of 5 Pop-Tarts. And they want to see when it comes down the road how when you're sleep deprived, you're hungry, you're getting very minimal intake of anything. Yeah. They want to see how you react. And then the last day is a 12-mile hike. You start at 4 in the morning, then it ends at whenever it ends. And I remember, and that's where you get your Eagle Globe and Anchor. And I was asking my son, I was like, did you get it on top of the mountain? He was like, no, we got it on the bottom. They climbed and they came back down, and they gave them the warrior's breakfast, they call it. So you get to eat everything. You get to pig out, whatever. I remember, since I wasn't really eating because I was still on the diet, they were still trying to make me lose weight throughout the whole, even though I started catching up. I think I went into boot camp 210 and I came out 175.
Okay.
And even my mom did recognize me. When I went, because they have family day before graduation.
Yeah.
And she was kind of like looking around, and I came up to her and she just looked, and I'm like, "Hi, Mom," and she's like, "Oh my God!" And no one fucking recognized me.
Damn.
Yeah, but then I remember when I went over, that was crazy. But when I went over to do my tours in Afghan and Iraq, when I came back, my son didn't even recognize me. He looked at me because I didn't see him for probably a good 4 years.
Ouch.
I would come home. I would come home for about a month or so,
Okay.
and that was when me and his mom were having problems.
Okay.
And but then I'll take off and go back.
And you didn't get a chance to see him.
Didn't get the chance to see him.
Ouch.
And to this day, all the stuff I saw over there, to this day, if I smell barbecue, it reminds me. I get flashbacks to smells like burnt flesh to me. So if I barbecue and I do anything, I get flashbacks.
Well, I had a college professor, my English college professor. I will never forget what he went through during 9/11. Like for a good 2 weeks, we would go to class and he's like freaking out, like on his desk, and just let us kind of free for all, just write whatever we wanted to. And when he finally came back, he apologized and he said, "Sorry guys, but it's just flashbacks from Vietnam. It's just flashbacks." So I what is that,
PTSD.
I believe in that, because for him, years when what was in he was, I think the man's pushing 80 something right now, 90 almost. Last time I talked to him, he was still kicking. I emailed him like the beginning of the year just to see how he was doing. He was a good teacher, dude.
Yeah.
And just watching him freak out was like, wow, that's real.
You know what? I used to freak out because obviously you're going to see a lot of stuff.
Of course.
I've seen my friends blown up in half. I've seen friends die in my arms, and there's really nothing you can do.
Bubba, gotta find Bubba.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro. You were going kind of dark there. I had to throw a joke.
Yeah, I've seen fucking people get blown up. Me personally, I had to shoot a kid. No hesitation. I had to shoot a kid. Because you don't know who the enemy is out there. Something I don't like to talk about too as well, because honestly, I still have those dreams and it haunts me to this day. It's basically a kid come up with his mom, his sister, and him, and they came up to us asking for, I think it was water or something. We're outside the city of Ramaldi, and we're like, okay, we could give him something, and then all I remember is commotion happened, and I could hear from the background my gunny yell out, "Shoot the mother effer!" And you see, I remember seeing him point, and I just brought out my pistol and boom. And then I saw my bunkmate, corporal. I saw the corporal. It wasn't my bunkmate. Correction. It was the corporal. Reach out and grab the kid, and then lays him on the floor, but then rips it open, and the kid was strapped to blow us up.
Oh, man.
The kid was strapped to blow us up, but they were trying to find the trigger, and then that's when they saw the trigger was in the sister's hand. So what was going to happen was, and I saw the other corporal just pistol whip the daughter real quick. Just boom, get it out of their hand, and the mom starts going crazy. And then when you want to talk about chokeholds, the only way you're gonna get control of a situation is not for 8 minutes and 47 seconds.
Yeah.
And he puts the mom in a chokehold. We grab the daughter, and she yells out something in Arabic, and pretty much they were pretty much gonna go out there and do what we got to do.
Yeah.
I remember them dragging them off, and everybody congratulating me, like, dude, you saved us. Like, you really did save us. And I was kind of like, yeah.
But you didn't feel like a hero.
Yeah, I kind of looked at it like, that was my nephew. I could have,
Yeah.
I had what I do. But
and it sucks the position that they put that family in.
Yeah.
Because they pretty much went out there to die.
Yeah.
So you have this lady with her 2 kids pretty much kissing the world goodbye.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's crazy, man.
Or a lot of them were... could have been revenge, like it could have been the bombing that was going on, and
it killed the family member.
So for them, it was kind of like, we're gonna seek revenge, and a lot of it was out there. So after the whole thing went down, kind of like how your I think it was your brother-in-law or
Ricky,
Ricky,
Officer Ricky,
was saying how Jocko Willink said on
On his podcast.
Podcast was more of a you do patrolling, get to know people, and that's what we did as well. But those people did not want us there. They hated us, like because we basically did their dirty work. So now they're like, all right, get out. Like, but then there were some people that we met that were really cool. Like I remember, they actually had us come and have dinner with them one time, and we looked at our our command, like, is it okay? And they were like, if you guys want to. And I remember one of my gunnies telling me, he's like, yeah, if you want to get the Hershey squirts, go ahead.
Is that another word for? Is that code for shits?
Yeah, pretty much. And they're like, go ahead. And I know a couple guys went off, and when they got time to go, they hung out with them, and they were trust me, they weren't all bad. It was
there's your bad apples.
Yeah, we did have to deal with a lot of stuff, and I remember the highlight of that trip was Saddam had a zoo. And no, he really did have a zoo. Like he had
Neverland Ranch.
he pretty much had a zoo, and I remember you could actually see the clip on YouTube because my friend posted it.
Okay.
I have pictures of it at home. I'll bring it one day to show you.
On your third appearance of the podcast.
Yeah, and so we actually were. This was our entertainment because, dude, we didn't see anything, dude. Like this, what are we gonna do, man? And we saw he had lions in the back, and we're like,
freaking Mike Tyson?
No, he had lions.
Oh no, Mike Tyson had a tiger. Never mind.
Yeah, Mike Tyson had tigers. He had lions in the back, and then he had ostriches. He had a bunch of stuff. Oh man, dude, we saw some of his stuff that they stole. I never saw a diamond encrusted faucet handle. And no, it was real diamonds.
Yeah,
like it was real diamonds. They had gold, like 24 karat gold sinks.
Yeah,
chandeliers were the top notch chandeliers from you couldn't get nowhere.
Wow.
Like, and then the people raided the palace. They took whatever they could do. But we're going off subject. So we went to the back, and we went through some stuff. So this was our entertainment, and we're like, we all look at each other. We're like, Cap, and because we're causing our captain.
Yeah.
How long do you think they've been back there? He's like, I don't know. I guess for this whole war. And he's like, I don't think they've been fed. And we start looking around, and there's goats over here, and we're like,
no.
All right, dude. Like let's see this. Let's see this, dude. And
no, you didn't.
They let the goat loose, and the goats were all eating, doing their thing. And then the corporal went back there and grabbed the gate.
Yeah. And
just ran real quick because if he opened it too slow, he was gonna get caught up.
Yeah.
So he opened it. He came running back, and then you just see the lion just come out. And just go, just maul them.
None of this animal goes to waste.
Yeah, and we're like, but for us, we never seen a lion, so we're all like, oh, only in this damn zoo or whatever.
Yeah,
but the zoo's not gonna show us when they feed them,
right?
Like, but to see them all like gang up on it, and we're all sitting back like, we have to be some sick guys. But then out of all of it, we're like, but this is our entertainment. Like, we don't have nothing else. We've been shot at for the last week and a half.
You can't watch the Brady Bunch. Married with Children.
We can't do none of that. Oh, if you want to talk about Forrest Gump.
Oh. Let's end it with that.
Let's end this with this. Okay, we just got back from fighting in Fallujah. We just spent a good 2 weeks just nonstop, just going at it hard. And then we're coming in as our time for R&R, so we're coming into the tents, camps, and then we see all the news out there, they're reporting, and then we see the couple of guys from the Army right there, and then the couple of guys from Army look at all of us, they're like, how was it out there? And we're looking at them like, who are you?
Yeah.
And we keep walking, and then we see another Army guy just kind of rolling around in the dirt, rubbing himself. He comes to me, asks me, hey, can I use your cover? I'm like, why? And he's all, just let me use your cover. And then my cap comes. He's all, what do you need it for? He's all, well, I got an interview with CNN. I got to look like I was out there fighting. And we're like, fuck. We kept walking.
Yeah.
And he ends up going and do the interview acting like he was out there fighting. And we just look back and we're just like, That's the double D's for
So
you.
what is the I gotta say one thing about the war of Vietnam.
Yeah, it was pretty much like that. And we all sat back. We had the thing refreshing to us. We actually had a Coke, and we were all enjoying it. We were having a Coke, and I remember my buddy from Mississippi just yells out. He's like, "Those damn double D's," and because we call the Army guys dumb as dog shit.
Oh.
And we all sat back, had our Cokes, and said, "All right, let's get some shut eye because it's been like 2 weeks since we really slept." So
Oh man.
yeah, it's good times, man. I loved
Well, dude, it was a story I've never heard before, man. Thank you for sharing the podcast. I mean, you're always welcome, bro.
it. Yeah, well, it was cool. I got some stories, man.
Let's just not make this the last episode. You'll be back, and like I end every podcast, thank you for riding with me.
I love riding with you.
Órale, güey.
Thank you for listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Indie Podcast. You can also listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean.